Hi and welcome back to my channel, and if it's your first time here then welcome. My name's Simone. Today I'm going to do a 37-week update, talk about my symptoms and also talk about what's going on with the home birth. So firstly I thought I would talk about the symptoms. So obviously if you're here for bump update, the home birth information, that will be later on, and I will put in the description box where that starts. So the first part will be the smelling of milk and the flaky nipples. So let's get right into it. Yeah, it doesn't sound nice obviously, but I was doing some research into it and I was struggling to find any videos and a lot of information online. So I thought, even though it's a bit embarrassing, I thought it might be a good idea to talk about it, especially for any women who are pregnant and who might be experiencing it, and yeah, just to, I suppose, open up discussion really. I would say the last week or so I've noticed that like a milky smell from my breast, and I never had it with my first pregnancy or my second pregnancy, and it's not like, say now I'm not smelling anything. It's usually, say if I'm getting changed like in the daytime or at night time, when I have a shower it goes away, but then like I said, later on in the day, if I'm getting changed or at night time, then I can really smell it. And it's not like a off milky like cow smell or anything like that. It's more just like a warm sweet milk smell. So I was doing some research online to see if any other women have been experiencing it or see if there's any articles on it, and a few women have said that they could smell it, and you know, it's down to hormones. You've got a heightened sense of smell, and some women, they've been to the doctors and they said, oh, some of the colostrum may be leaking from the breast. So if you don't know what colostrum is, it's usually, like the first fluid what comes out of the breast, like, for the first couple of days, and they call it like liquid gold. So like, I'm familiar obviously with colostrum from my first two pregnancies, and mine is like an orangey colour. So what I did was I was able to express some of the colostrum out, and what I think's been happening, and what one of these articles said, is that the colostrum could be leaking from the breast and then it's drying on the nipple. So I think that's what's happening in my case. So it's not leaking heavily where it's on my bra, but I think it's leaking a little bit, drying, and then it's causing my nipples to be flaky. So I know that some women suffer from cracked nipples in pregnancy and sensitivity, but mine's not cracked nipples. It's not painful, it's not sore. It just looks quite flaky and weird. I know it sounds, it might be too much information, but like I said, I just wanted to be honest and open. So what I've been personally doing to like get rid of it is, obviously been having showers, but then because it's dried on, I've been using like an exfoliating glove. So I've not been like vigorously like scrubbing the nipples or anything, but I just find that if I put some lotion on, like the exfoliating glove, or if it's wet the glove, and then I like gently massage like the nipples, that it seems to get rid of this dried colostrum, so then they don't look as flaky as usual. So that's what I've been personally doing to try to get rid of the colostrum. But when it comes to the smell, like I said, it's just a case of having showers, and then inevitably the smell just seems to come back. But as long as other people aren't smelling it, like I've asked my husband, do I stink, and he's like, no you don't. So as long as no one else is smelling it, then I'm not too fussed about it. But I'd be really interested to know if any other women are experiencing this, and if you've got any tips to try to stop it happening, and when did it start with you. So yeah, so that's one of the new symptoms that I've been dealing with this week. Another symptom, I don't know if you'll be able to notice it, but I feel like I can notice it. Last week I said that my weight gain had slowed down, but I'd say this last week I've really gained a lot of weight, to the point where I'm not able to fit in like my jeans properly. They're really tight. I feel like I've put a lot of fat on around here in such a short space of time, and my face, I personally feel it looks bigger. I don't know if it's water retention or what, but I am just feeling a lot heavier, a lot more sluggish. Fatigue's coming and going, but my iron levels have increased, which is fantastic. And I'm also going through that nesting stage. So last night I just decided, it was like 11 o'clock at night, and I wanted to scrub the carpets. Don't ask me why, but I just feel like now I just want to make sure that the house is all sorted and my bag's packed. I'll talk about that later on with the home birth situation. And then apart from that, the heartburn, it's ridiculous to the point where sometimes I'll be having a nap and then the acid will come up, and the other day it like woke me up startled, choking on this acid. That's coming and going, and it's obviously dependent on what types of foods I'm eating. And emotionally, with the news that I've had in regards to the home birth, that's kind of knocked me a little bit. Again, I said I'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, my emotions are all over the place a little bit, and now I've reached that 37-week mark, it's kind of like, wow, the baby could come at any time. I've been getting a lot of Braxton Hicks contractions, and you know, like last week I just felt like I was going to give birth. I felt really ready, which really panicked me, and that's why I started getting my like hospital bag packed and everything. But there hasn't been any other shows of that, you know, I'm going to go into labour. I just think it was, I was having a stressful week last week with the news that we've been given from the hospital, and it just, I think it maybe just brought on some of the Braxton Hicks contractions more, and more pressure like in the pelvis, but I'm feeling okay. So yeah, so that's the symptom side of things. I'm going to talk about what happened at the hospital, the appointment last week, and then I'll do a bump update. I went to the hospital last Thursday. I made a video last week obviously telling you that I'd been crying on the phone, all emotional, because I didn't know whether I was coming or going and what was going on with the home birth. So the lady that I spoke to on Tuesday said that she was going to get the head of midwifery to call me to let me know what was happening, plan of action, and if she didn't, we would discuss on Thursday. So I went ahead with the growth scan, and everything was totally fine with me and the baby. Placenta's in the right place, the blood flow through the cord was fine, and she said that the baby's got loads of hair. I didn't know that you could see that on a scan, but she said that she showed me like something like on the baby's head, like white, and she said that all that white is hair, and I was like really surprised, but I was surprised at the scan but not shocked really, because both of my children have come out with like masses of black hair. We had that, and then we waited a little bit, and then we had an appointment with the midwife, and it was the midwife that I spoke to on the phone, who was really nice, and she asked us had the head of midwives, because she called us and we said no. She said, I was hoping that I wouldn't be having to tell you, but she said that the head of midwifery have said that for the month of August they've suspended home births. So I don't know why at the time I didn't think to ask, is there any way she can change her mind, or you know, just more questions. I think I was just kind of a bit shocked about what happened the week before with the senior doctor. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll put a link in for that video. But she said, yeah, I think it's down to staffing issues because it's only a small hospital. So she said, have you thought about having a water birth in hospital? I wanted a water birth with my son, and I was allowed to go in the water, and it was too early, and I think that slowed down the contractions, and I've got a video about that as well, which I'll put a link to. So I said to her, so like I said at the time, I'd listened to what she'd said about there being staff issues and that I couldn't have the home birth. So it was kind of like, right, what am I going to do? I need to put a plan in place. It didn't sink in until after the appointment. So just at that moment, I just thought, right, what are we going to do? Going to the hospital where we used to live, and attempting a home birth date wouldn't be possible because obviously we'd not got that house anymore. And if I went to go and stay at my mum's house, she's not in that area of that hospital, and it would be a different one, and they was really unsupportive of the last natural birth. So it was kind of like, right, I've not got a choice really here. I don't want to have a home birth without the support of midwives, because I just feel like that personally is dangerous, considering I've had the previous C-section. So I obviously was willing to have a discussion around what would happen if I came into hospital. So one of the first things that I mentioned was I remember with my son, and you'll see it on the video, you know, being asked questions, being examined, like I had a sweep without agreeing to one, which shocked me, and I had the catheter in my hand and it all swelled and everything else. I said, look, if I do come in, because obviously I've had the home birth before, am I able to come in and obviously if you need to check my blood pressure and do a quick check on the Doppler to make sure that the baby's heartbeat's fine, would I be able to just then go in the room and, you know, dimly lit and just get on with labouring? And she said, well, you know, usually the process is that we would take your blood and we would put a catheter in your hand. And I just thought, again, if I was classed as really high risk and there was, you know, signs that there was something wrong with me, the baby, then I can totally understand that. But if there's not, and I'm just labouring nice and progressing nicely, why is all that necessary? So we was going back and forward and talking about it, and then she said, I'll go and get your consultant and she can come and speak to you about all this. So when she came in, I didn't obviously know what to expect, because the guy the week before didn't really seem very supportive of natural births after C-sections. But she came in and literally it was like speaking to the consultant, like my old one, what I had with my previous pregnancy, and up until like a month ago when I moved. And again, she just was straight down the line. There's risk with everything. You've drove here, there's risk with that. You're normal. The statistics are on your side to have a natural birth. If you don't want to have a catheter when you come in, that is not a problem. We can have the drip tray on the other side of the room ready if you needed to have one. You don't need to be on the, you know, when they put the monitor around you and it restricts you to be listening, you know, listen to the baby's heartbeat all the time. I don't have to have that. She said it will be very much minimal medical intervention, and you can be left to labour as you want to. So she wrote all that down in the notes, which I thought was fantastic. So I was really, really happy about that, because I just thought that obviously she's a consultant. I thought she'd be more about, right, medical interventions and the midwife, but I suppose the midwife is following the protocols. So yeah, she said she'd be happy for that, and she said hopefully I will be the last doctor that you will be seeing from now on. And I loved how she was just so straight down the line, and she saw that what I wanted, it wasn't unreasonable. It wasn't that I was, like I said, wanting to have an unassisted home birth with no midwives or not talking to any health professionals or anything. It's just we've weighed the risks. We've looked at you know, all the different research. We've gone off our previous experience and everything, and we just wanted to make sure that what happened with the first birth didn't happen with this one, and that we could, you know, safely deliver the baby like we did with our last pregnancy. So we went away from there. We went upstairs and checked out the labour ward quickly, and they have like a room which has got like a big birthing pool and CD player, and you know, you can have like them mood lights and the twinkle lights on the ceiling and everything, which looks fantastic. Then there was another room which was alright as well. There's a screen that blocks you off from, say, the bed, and it's got like a small birthing tub, And it also had, I don't know if you've seen these before, but it had the birthing stool and it had like a rope hanging from it, which is fantastic, because in one of my other videos that I talked about, like childbirth practices from like hundreds of years ago, the birthing stool was something that was used for hundreds, thousands of years. Like, it's supposed to really help open up the pelvis to get the baby out. So when we tried to see about buying one, I think they only had like antique ones on eBay, and they were like, yeah, African birthing stools. So they have like a huge one in the hospital, and the midwife even says, I try and encourage women to get on there, but they're a bit like, you know, about it, but it's supposed to really help with the gravity. There's yoga balls in there, and then there was like these like wedge, these soft wedge things that you can lean on and things like that. So it did take my mind off everything, and it was nice to see obviously the hospital. When I got home, it really sank in, thinking, wow, I was really looking forward to it. I had it all planned out, where I was going to give birth and how it was going to be in the house, and it just really hit home that, wow, I can't believe it, that I'm not going to be able to have a home birth. They did reiterate that it's nothing to do with my previous C-section, purely down to staffing issues. So I did email an organisation to see where, you know, I stood when it comes to, because I think before I've read about, you know, staffing issues shouldn't be a reason for you not to be able to choose the kind of care that you want. So obviously it would be so awesome if, I'm going to ask on Thursday if there's any chance, like if I did go into labour, if there wasn't like a staff shortage, or you know, that was more than there was more than enough midwives, would they be able to send someone? But it might be just, you know, worth asking. So I've packed my hospital bag and put the baby grows in there, nappies and everything. I might do a video on that another time. And then, yeah, I've packed my clothes and everything, and we're hoping that the baby doesn't come too early, because like I said, we've moved away and we've got no family here. So my mum is coming next week, and she would be taking care of the children when we go up to hospital. So yeah, so I'm hoping in a way that the baby doesn't come, because obviously Ryan's my birthing partner. He knows the hypnobirthing techniques, he knows how to help me to stay calm in the situation, and he's obviously going to be the person, if you know about hypnobirthing, he's going to be the person that's, you know, speaks to the midwives and everything, and looks after and protects me and everything. So yeah, so I'm hoping I don't go into labour before my mum comes. So yeah, so to be honest, I mean, some of you might be like, well, you know, there's worse things that could happen. You know, you're going to be in hospital, it's going to be safe and everything. But if you're a mum who's had a home birth, who's had the obviously traumatic experience with the first child, and you know, there's nothing wrong with you or the baby, but obviously it's out of your hands staff wise, it's just obviously a bit disappointing. And you know, I've just been upset about it, but I'm just trying to get my head around it and mentally prepare for going into the hospital, and hopefully my contractions won't slow down like they did with the first one. Hopefully I can just get, you know, get in a zone and be, you know, have nice staff and nice environment, and then the baby comes. That is the dream. Apart from all of them things, that's my 37-week update, and I will be seeing a midwife, like I said, on Thursday, and I'm not booked in now to go to the hospital again. They've said that I can be under the community midwife because there's, you know, I'm not like a high risk patient, so I don't need to be going and seeing like specialists or consultants. So I'll just see my own midwife, and then if I don't go into labour by the 5th of September, that's when I will go in, and then they would look to I don't know if they'd be looking for an induction or whatever, but I don't want to think about that right now. I'd rather just concentrate on enjoying these next few weeks and see the midwife here, and then just see what happens. So I'll show you the bump and then I'll get going. So there's the bump, and thank you for watching. Thank you for all of the new subscribers, and if you've not subscribed and you like this video, then please can you subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos, and if you did like the video then give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!